Which classes? Oh, you're fine.
Obviously, I've had a lot of phone calls, good and bad, about what your dad posted and what you recorded. So you got your phone recording now?
I do.
I'll ask you to take it. I'll turn it off.
Turn it off? My dad's told me that if the teacher asks me to turn it off, I can't turn it off.
We have rules here.
What are they?
You're not supposed to have your phone out unless the teachers approve of it.
Mm-hmm.
When can you have your phone and have it on?
You can have it on whenever you're in a hallway. And it's actually a law where you can have it whenever you're talking to a public associate, which you are my principal and I'm legally allowed to record you.
You are.
I am.
But I'm asking you to turn it off.
I can't do that.
Okay. So, come with me.
Yes, sir. If you said it was not illegal, if I'm legally allowed to do it,
but
what's
the
the
school
problem?
has the permission to make rules.
Okay.
And you're allowed to have your phone out
Okay.
between classes
Okay.
and at lunch. It's
Okay.
neither one of those. And you've been asked
It
by
was.
an employee of this building
Okay.
to turn your phone off. Now, if you want to leave it on, I'm going to let you leave it on. That's no big
Okay.
deal.
You care to call my dad?
Why do I need to call your dad?
Because he said if I run into a problem like this to call him.
You don't have a problem, do you?
Well, I mean, it looks like
I'll let you
you're
call
mad.
him after we talk.
Okay, that's fine.
Go ahead and you go in that room in there.
Yes, sir.
Aaron? Since you're the only one around, I'm going to let you be with us. This is Aaron McQueen. He's our security officer today.
Okay.
I was going to get an assistant principal, but there aren't any available. They're all
Nice to meet you.
This is Cody Kelly.
Cody Kelly.
Cody's taping this, and I've asked him to turn off his phone, and he's refused, and that's okay. That's no big deal. I need to find out some answers to questions I don't have answers to.
Okay.
First of all, how did you wind up in the counselor's office on Friday?
Yep, that's what a lot of people are asking, and I'll tell you how. Okay. So I was in class. Well, the counselor, she called me down because of my grades. I had some Fs, and we were talking about WTCC, and she said you can't get into any trouble when you go to WTCC.
Did she call you down, or did you have a green card to see her?
No, she called me down.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and
I'm not recording, so I'm gonna have to take some notes. I may have to stop
You're
you
fine.
and ask you to repeat.
it's all good. So anyways, she called me down. We was talking about going to WTC next year, getting ready. And she said something about not being able to be in trouble or anything. And I said, well, that might be an issue because like a couple days ago, I was sitting in class. I got moved to the front because I wasn't really paying attention at the time. Class just started. I was looking back talking to my friend. And we started doing the test. She was handing out the test. And she said, will you please move up here? So I moved up there for her, for the substitute we had. And some girl, she said, she was sitting where I was going to sit right beside her. She says to me, why are you moving the redneck up to me? And her name is Lauren Shelberg. And I sat there and I said, yep, I'm a redneck and I'm proud of it. Like, what's the point? And so I'm sitting there, and next thing I know, the substitute was just eyeballing me. And I was sitting there and I was doing my testing. I had what was it? It's like a card about like that. I had a card with me that was, it had your email address on it because I asked the front woman at the front for your email address. And I was folding it into a cube while I was doing my test, just having something to do with my left hand.
Why did you need my email address?
I was going to email you. I forget what it was about. But I was going to email you.
You don't have any idea why?
No. I don't know. But I went up there and I got it. I went up there and I got your email, and I was sitting in class and I was folding the cube. And
where did you get my email?
I'm sorry.
Where did you get my email?
The woman at the front desk. And so I was sitting there and folding my cube, and I was halfway done with the Scantron. Next thing I know, she looks at me. She says, "Will you please go to the office?" And I said, "What for?" She said, "Go to the office now." She didn't explain to me why I was going to the office or any of that. And so I was sitting there and I was trying to comprehend why in the heck I'm going to the office right now. So I went down to the office. She said, "Here, take this test." I said, "I don't want to even do your test. I'm too mad to even do a test right now." I put my test on the desk and I walked out, came down here to Mr. Russell. He called her up. He actually called her up. She told the same exact story I told. She said I was playing with what's it called? A cube that I was folding, and that I wasn't doing my test. And I looked at Miss Russell and I said, "Miss Russell, I was doing my test. It was halfway filled out on the Scantron." Now this is what I was talking to the woman, the counselor, about, Miss Shepherd. And so while I was talking to her, she brings up something about, well, you might have offended your what was it? You might have offended your substitute. The substitute was black. I'm not racist. I got a lot of black friends. And I said, that don't excuse the way she acted toward me. She can't just turn on someone just like that because she thinks something of them. And so I'm sitting there and she's like, "Well, you have something called white male privilege." And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the heck is that? You know, I don't know anything about politics or any of that. And so I'm sitting there and she just goes on about, and I said to her, I said, what's white male privilege? I don't know what you're talking about right now. And she went on and on, and I wasn't really paying attention to her. I just wanted to get out of her office. And she went on, and then she went on about something about wealthy people and triple down economics, whatever that is. She was talking about money and how triple down economics. She don't believe in that wealthy people are just greedy and they don't want to lose it. Some of them might be afraid to lose their money or something like that along them lines. And I was sitting there and I was just listening to her. And then I left her office because she said, "That's it." She said, "Do you have any questions about your grades or anything else?" And I said no, because I just wanted to get out of there. I had no clue what she was talking about. I kept bringing up the subject to her about what happened to me. So the period, what period is this right now?
This is 5.
Fifth period. I kept on telling her what happened to me, and she just kept on going on and on about this white privilege stuff and this triple down economics. And then she got real crappy with me at the end. She's like, "I want to see these grades change and blah blah blah." Because I told her, I said, "You know what, to be honest with you, Miss Shepherd, I really don't care right now. I just don't care." Because she had me mad. I wasn't, like real mad, but she had me to the point that I was just over it. And I told her, I said, "I really don't care about school. I really don't care about any of this." I said, after I said that, she flipped just like that. And so she finally let me leave. And then whenever I left, I got a hold of my dad and I said, I texted him and I said to him, I said the guidance counselor told me I had something called white male privilege. What is that? And he said, "Do what?" And I said, "White male privilege." And he's like, you just wait for me. I'll be up there and you're gonna tell me everything she said to you. So I showed him the video, and he's seen the video. And as soon as he seen the video, he was enraged. He said that she shouldn't have been talking to me. He don't appreciate the fact that she was talking to me about her beliefs in politics or any of that, or white privilege or you know, because I was down there for my grades. I wasn't expecting her to bring up a bunch of politics and white male privilege and all that stuff up. You know, it made me feel like she was degrading me whenever she was telling me. She told me that I should help. She told me that I should help support them, and I should blah blah blah. And I don't disagree with that. You should help each other in this world because this is a hard world to live in, and you should help each other. But whenever she tells me that I owe them something because I was born a white male, that isn't right. She shouldn't do that. And she made me feel uncomfortable. I didn't feel comfortable sitting in her office, and I do request a new counselor. And then after that, that's when my dad decided to make the video, let the town know what the counselor was talking about, let them know that it's unacceptable to be taking this because, I mean, some woman commented that her son was getting picked on and told that he wasn't black enough by kids from this school. They didn't know why, but they said they contacted you, and she said something about she was going to get a hold of the news or something, but it was all just hearsay, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, it seems like an ongoing situation that kids just think that they owe blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
Like, she told me that I owe black people stuff and whatever. So I'm thinking that somebody else was told that they owe black people or a black person money or something to survive. And so now they think they owe them something and making them feel uncomfortable. She made me feel very uncomfortable.
I understand that you felt uncomfortable. I don't know where you're going to with the other statements you made.
Right.
About
Well, that was just something like an example of why, you know, she shouldn't be telling a bunch of kids this.
Did she tell more than one?
Well, I'm not saying she did, but by what that woman said, that white kids told her son that he wasn't black enough for some reason. I don't know what it was about, but I don't know. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It really does.
Okay, so-
We should all get
you
along.
don't have any evidence that she's told anybody else?
No, but she told me. I have evidence of that.
Yeah,
I do.
I heard the tape.
Okay.
Let's go back. Why did you have to go see Mr. Russell? Were you sent to him by the sub?
So no. She told me to go down to the office.
Did you go?
So yes, I went to the front office and I told her. I said my sub sent me down here. I was being all polite about it. I said, my sub sent me down here. Where do you want me to go from now? From here on out. And she says to me, she says, well, I'll just call Mr. Russell and you can go over and talk to him. So she sent me over to Mr. Russell, and Mr. Russell called her up, seen what was going on, and then he sent me to II. He said, just go on to II for now, Cody. So I went to II for the rest of that class period. It was like probably about 15 minutes. And so I was in II for 15 minutes, and I got out, and that was the end of that. And then I went back to Mr. Russell's office because I got written up and for what happened since she sent me out of class, and it's a substitute. I got written up for that, and I got 3 detentions. But I went back to Mr. Russell's office the other day, and I asked him if I could switch him 3 detentions for 1 day of II, and we agreed to that. And I went on my Harmony and checked, and it says that, but I'm not sure which day I have to serve that. But I don't know. I just don't agree with it.
Agree with?
Like the reason why she sent me out of class. Because I wasn't cheating on my test or anything. I was sitting there with the cube.
Did she ask you to get busy? Did she ask you to stop playing with the card?
No, she didn't say nothing to me about the card.
Talking?
No. And you know what I find weird about this, Mr. Judd? Is I'm sitting here with a cube in my hand, just folding it. I have my Scantron right here. I'm doing my test. And the girl right beside me, she has her paper flipped up like this. And I was so mad at the time. I didn't say nothing. And I'm not a snitch. But it really makes me mad that she sent me to the office. And this girl's over here on her phone looking up the answers to her test. I was like, what the heck? I said to my parents, I said, the kids that are actually doing something wrong, cheating on their tests, they're getting in trouble for it. The kids that aren't cheating on their tests, that are actually doing it, I'm sitting here trying to keep my other hand busy, you know. I got in trouble. I got sent down to the office for not doing nothing. There's witnesses up in that classroom right now that'll tell you I was sitting there not even doing nothing. Because I went back up there the next day and I said to the,
Who are the witnesses?
shoot, what's his name? Isaiah Falls Knight. What's that other kid's name? He sits, Lauren Shelberg sits here. He sits on the very left-hand side of her, on the other desk. He was sitting there, shoot, I can't name all of them. I don't know all them kids up there. All I know is Isaiah, shoot, I could go up there and point him out to you, or anything, but I'll tell you right now, I don't see what I did wrong or anything.
You think Mr. Russell was fair with you and saying, hey, you don't have to serve your detentions, I understand
Yeah,
your
right,
work?
right. And yeah, it's fine.
Just saying, okay, we'll get
Right.
it aye.
Yeah, it's just that whole situation made me feel so uncomfortable that, it
Okay, let me see if I got this right.
Okay.
You were in class, you had a sub,
Okay.
you were taking a test. Had you been talking? Had you been told to be quiet? Why did you get moved to the front?
At the very beginning of class, I was talking to Isaiah that was sitting behind me, and she looked at me and she says, will you please move up here? So I grabbed my stuff, because Malia...
Was the test going on at that point?
The test, it wasn't going on, but I whenever I turned around and she said, will you please move up here? She was actually handing out the test, and I was like, yeah, I'll move up there. So I went up there, and my Scantron, I don't know if the teacher still has it or whatever, but it's almost completely full. All I basically had to do was the second part of the test. That's why I got moved up to the front.
Is this your first day back since Friday?
It is.
So you haven't had a chance to say, hey, can I get to finish my test?
Well, I actually have. I think it was Friday that she said, has anybody not completed their test? And I raised my hand just like that. And she...
So the test wasn't Friday?
No, it was like, shoot, I forget when we had that sub. It was like Thursday or Wednesday or something like that. I can't remember when we had the sub that day. I'm sure you could figure that out. But I raised my hand and I said, yeah, I didn't complete my test. I didn't get to because I got sent to the office. And she said, well, you made that choice, didn't you? And I just didn't respond to her. I just sat there for the rest of class.
Did Mrs. Rao give you a chance to finish the test on Friday?
No.
You haven't had a chance?
No, she said she's not letting me finish because I made that choice. And at the time, it's kind of hard to do a test whenever you're mad and you just don't understand why you're getting in trouble for something that you didn't do. You know what I mean? I was just sitting there not even doing nothing. And I feel like she was... I feel like the substitute teacher was being prejudiced toward me just because I was white and I said that I was a redneck. And, I'm not racist. I'm not a racist guy. I got a lot of black friends. I really do. And it just... I don't know. It's just crazy. This world's getting bad. I mean, I can somewhat sort of see what she was coming from, but, she don't know me from Adam. She don't know what I am. She don't know who I am. She don't know the kind of person I am. I'd sit down and I'd talk to her for hours about anything. But after she done that, it just made me feel uncomfortable after that. And I was like,
So the day you got in trouble, you saw Mr. Russell.
I did.
That was Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
So Friday, you get called to the counselor's office. Has nothing to do with getting in trouble.
Right. It was to do with my grades.
Okay. What caused you to turn your recorder on?
To be honest with you, last year, I used to go to the office all the time. And I was sitting there, and my dad, he always said, son, every time you go to the office, every time you go anywhere, I want you to hit that record button. Because if you're getting accused for something, if you're getting anything, I want that on recording so you can prove that you didn't do it. So ever since last year I've been doing it. I use recordings to help me not get in trouble in Mr. Russell's office. I've sat my phone down on Mr. Russell's desk and let him record the recording that I had. And I told him, I said, Mr. Russell, I didn't do it, man. I promise you. I said I got a recording right here, and he's got me out of trouble. I feel safer with the recording, to be honest, because I know what I said. I know what the other person said. And it just goes a lot easier, too, that way. There's no confusion. There's none of that.
So did you turn your recorder on as soon as you walked into her office?
No, as soon as I walked out of class, I looked down at my pass. I just stuck it in my pocket, and I turned my recorder on, stuck it in my pocket, and walked to the guidance. I think we're in it, aren't we? No, it's over there.
So do you have some idea you would need a recording of your meeting with the counselor?
No, I just felt like recording, to be perfectly honest, Mr.
You know the rules.
I do. No phones whenever class is taking period.
When can you use phones?
You can use phones whenever you're walking through the hallway passing period and at lunchtime.
Yeah. You recording right now?
Well, it's actually not against the law to record a public servant, and you're a public servant, correct?
I'm a school official right now.
School official. Okay, well, my dad told me that it is actually not illegal to record your principal or any of that. It just makes me feel safer.
Okay.
Because, we know what is being said. I know what's being said.
Sure. I know you're in a situation where you're trying to obey school rules.
Right. I'm trying to obey the school rules, and I'm trying not to get in trouble.
Your dad as
right.
Well. So, do you feel the school has a right to make some rules?
To make some rules?
Yeah.
Some rules, but I think whenever it comes to recording, like on a certain situation, I think that should be an exception.
So students should have the right to decide which rules they want to follow?
No. But I think this is a very, what was that word I was looking for? I think this is a good time to record. That's just me. And I don't believe it's wrong to record right now. I don't believe it's wrong to record what's going on.
We're talking.
Right. And I appreciate that. I just want to know if you think I did something wrong.
I don't know if you did anything wrong in the classroom or not. I've heard the substitute.
Right.
I've heard the reason you got sent down here. I've heard it from you.
Right.
I haven't had a chance to talk to the sub yet.
Okay.
I've talked to Mr. Russell.
Right.
I haven't seen the handwritten notes from the sub that caused Mrs. Rao to refer you.
Right. And I actually, after class, after I got out of II, I actually went back up and I told the sub, I said, hey, I'm sorry for whatever I did. I don't know what I did, but I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for being a butthole and not wanting to do my test. I just didn't feel like doing it. I'm sorry for doing that. And, I shook her hand and everything. I was just being a respectful gentleman, trying to respect the sub, respect the people that were in the school building, but I don't know.
Well, what I saw is where you were talking and you were not doing your test.
Correct. I was doing my test.
Well, you just apologized to her for not doing your test.
No, that was the second part of the test. I did the first part of my test, but if she wrote me up for not doing my test, that would be because she whenever I stood up, she said, "And you're gonna do this," and I said, "I'm not doing that," because I didn't feel like doing the test right then and there. I would have flunked it completely bad because I was so mad at the time because I was like, "Why am I being sent here right now?" You know what I mean? I just didn't understand it.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure you get a chance to retake that test and to finish it. I think that's only fair. We can't give you a 0 on it because you got in trouble. I will tell you that anytime you're told to do anything by an adult in this building, whether it's a teacher, administrator, lunch lady, custodian, security officer, substitute teacher, you have to do it unless it's illegal or will harm you in some way.
Yes, sir.
Today, I asked you to do something and you refused to do it.
But is it illegal? It's not illegal.
No.
You said unless it was illegal.
I can't say, hey, go kill somebody. Hey,
oh, well,
go
right.
smack somebody. Go hit somebody. But I can say, hey, turn your phone off.
Right.
We have a rule.
Right.
I can say, hey,
But the state of
don't
Indiana,
smoke a cigarette.
the state of Indiana, there ain't no law that says,
Do you feel that schools have rules that are
um,
not laws?
I feel the rules, and if like tobacco use, like whenever you bring tobacco into school or whatever, that's a law,
Right.
But I don't, I don't think it should apply to recording something like this, you know.
Is it illegal for you to be on the internet anytime you want to? Is there a law that says you can't be on the internet at school?
Mm-mm.
Okay, but if your teacher says, put your iPad away, I don't want you on the internet, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna put it away because I don't,
So,
know.
so sometimes you're told to do things because of education
Right.
that there are no laws to protect your rights to do it or not to do it, but the school makes rules,
Okay.
and we have to have order here.
Right.
And we can't have students picking and choosing which rules they
Right.
want to follow. You understand
Yeah,
that?
I understand what you're saying, but like, what I'm trying to tell you is like, I understand like a classroom scenario. You know, if you're on your iPad and you're sitting in the back of the class and you're on your iPad just doing stuff, and the teacher says, "Will you shut that off?" Pay attention to what I'm doing. But it, I just believe that in a situation like this right now, it's safer to have recording. Cops have body cameras on because they feel safer with them body cameras on because they will know, that person can't lie on me. They can't say nothing about me. I can get everything, everyone's words, everything. I just feel safer with it on, and that's the reason I'm keeping it on.
So when you went to apologize to the sub, did she accept your apology?
She did. She did.
Okay.
She said, she said, I thank you very much for coming back and apologizing to me, and she stuck out her hand and we shook hands.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you cleared that up with her.
Yep. I didn't, I just didn't.
Well,
I
here's
wanted to
what
be
I've
respectful
gotta do,
with her.
because now I've heard your side.
Okay.
How in the world you wound up in the counselor's office, I couldn't figure out.
Right.
how
Right.
that
And
happened.
a lot of people had that question.
Now I need to talk to some witnesses in class to see if what you told me about your behavior
Okay.
was true or not,
Okay.
based upon
Yep.
their opinions.
Right.
It's gonna be your opinion, their
Right.
opinion.
Right.
I gotta see where we're at here. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm trying my best to figure out something that happened
Yeah.
last week sometime that I
Yeah, I
didn't know
understand,
about
and-
until it was
and-
on the internet, on YouTube.
Correct. Right. And then the next day that I went up in there and I told her that I didn't get to do my test, I heard the guys in the side. I think it was I forget his name. He was sitting directly left of Lauren, on the far. He was either on the right or the left side. He said, because the teacher got really crappy with me, and she says, you said you weren't going to do that, remember? And I just looked at her and I sat back, and I heard the guys over here talking, and they said he didn't even do anything. And I was like sitting there thinking to myself, I said I didn't do anything, and I was almost in tears because she
Who said, remember you said you weren't gonna do anything? Who said that?
Miss Rao. She said, because I told the substitute, whenever I told you about the substitute, I told her that I wasn't going to do the test right now, and I just walked out because I was mad. You can't expect a mad person to do a test. That'd be like me making him mad. And if he was gonna do an I-step test or something, you guys have already graduated and all that, I'm sure. Well, I'm not sure, but I know for a fact. Anyways,
Well, okay.
that'd be like me telling you
Okay.
to do one of
So
those
when the
tests.
teacher said, you said you weren't gonna do anything, what was she referring to?
What do you mean?
That's,
Whenever-
I don't know what you mean. You said the teacher said,
The
hey,
test,
you
the
already
test.
said you weren't gonna do anything.
The test that I was doing, I told my substitute teacher I wasn't going to do it right now. I said I don't want to do this right now, and I just walked out. I said I'm not doing it, and I walked down here, and I think she was referring to that, referring to the test that I said I wasn't going to do, and
I was trying to make sense of that
right,
statement.
right.
Okay, well, I think I'm satisfied as far as the information I need from you. Uh, you have any questions for me?
I don't. And I actually, do I still have that? I don't know if I still have that. I had a recording because I wanted to record me going back and telling her I was sorry just to prove. And I might have that recording. I'm not sure. I think I have it.
All right. Well, I will urge you that when an adult in this building asks you to do something, or tells you to do something, unless it is illegal, because no one wants you to do anything that's illegal.
Right, I understand
Or
that.
something that will harm you physically or mentally,
Right.
that you should do it.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, you're not following
Right.
rules.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
All right. Let me give you a pass. Did we get a call in for you yesterday?
I don't think so. My parents were actually, they were kind of shocked that nobody actually called. They said, I wonder why the high school didn't call. And I said, I don't know. I said, they seen this. My dad knew you seen it because he has something on that shows who all seen his video and all that. And he was like, yeah, the high school seen this. And he said, he just wanted to resolve it. He didn't want, her teaching, putting that stuff in. I honestly don't believe that it's right for a teacher to state their political views to a kid. That's just me, and I don't think you're allowed to do that anyways. That's why we're not allowed to talk about the Bible or anything like that. That's why the teachers aren't. I just felt uncomfortable. And I like to...
And what, your parents were wondering why we didn't call?
Whenever I didn't come in, like come in yesterday.
How long have you been in school?
How long? Shoot, I don't know.
No. Junior? Are you a junior?
I'm a sophomore. I'm a sophomore.
Okay, you've been in school at least 11 years.
Right.
What do parents do every time their child's absent?
They call.
There you go.
Yeah.
So why would your parents expect us to call?
No, what I'm saying is, like, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying, like, they thought it was kind of odd that the high school didn't call, because normally all the other days that I would have been absent, they would have called in and say, hey, yeah, where's Cody at today? But yesterday they didn't.
Have we ever called?
Oh, yeah, you got, hey, where's Cody at today? Why is he absent,
You only been in school for a few days, right?
I've been in school for...
Came back in January?
Yeah.
January 8th? Something
Probably
like that?
about a week or two.
So how many days did you miss out of those 2 weeks that we were calling?
Oh, shoot.
See where you were?
I missed like 2 because I was sick and I didn't feel good.
Did your parents call in those days?
Yeah, they're excused.
So we didn't call you on those days?
No, because my mom called in before.
So what days are you talking about you weren't here then?
Yesterday.
But you said any other day.
Oh, that was like last year. Because I was absent some last year too. Not a whole lot, but I was absent some, and you guys would always
It's
call.
always the parents' responsibility.
Right, I understand.
Okay. You got a time on that? Or do I need to change it now?
I don't know. Where'd I put it? It's in my pocket. 113. 31, actually. 34. All right.
All right. I may be talking to you later. We'll see.
Okay.
I gotta find out
All right.
what the witnesses say.
All right, thank you.
Not judging anyone unfairly.
Correct. I understand. I know where you're coming from.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. You guys have a great day. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.